All right, it's time. We got Rowdy here in Las Vegas, Nevada. What are you doing here?
Dude, I was down here for the ARA, the American Rental Association, QUIK-PULL and I. And by the way, a big shout out to my poor wife that's at home and she don't get to do this with us. Hi, Kelly. I love you.
What's up, Kelly? We miss you. We wish you were down here for this. It's not very often you come down and do one of these shows without her. This is only your probably second or third one without her, no? Or how many do you do normally?
This is like the second show I've ever done without her. And I got to tell you, it's always hard because she's the organizer. She's the one that does all the admin work. She's the great support. All I have to do is go out and be the clown.
Yeah. And now you got to be the clown and you got to work.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
And you work as a team. If anybody's ever seen NW QUIK-PULL at one of these shows, it's almost like the synergy between you two is just incredible. When one of you is talking to this person, the other one's talking to this other one, you've got this system to where one of you is showing the equipment, the other one's explaining it. I mean, tell me, did you guys come up with that, or is it a process you guys practice?
What? Kelly and I have that kind of chemistry. Everything we've ever done in life. And some things we've got a little bit of opposites. In other words, Kelly's kind of recluse, stay at home a little bit sometimes. I know you wouldn't tell at a show, but on the other hand, sometimes, she can turn that on and off. Me, on the other hand, I am on the go. I'm like you, Brian. I just want to be out in the world doing the thing. I enjoy being the people. I don't like being in front of the computer. So with that said, Kelly is a great support, and we just compliment each other that way. We a few years ago, we came down here. We was at the American Tool and Hardware Show.
I saw you there. That was a really cool one too, huh?
That was a great one. And the thing is, the Shark Tank was there looking for people. And I can remember walking up onto the stage, and we didn't really have anything scripted other than just our normal pitch.
Yeah.
And Kelly asked, you want to pitch? You want me to pitch? I said, you pitch. We always get luckier that way. We got a standing ovation. We were the only people to get a standing ovation. We got invited to the TV show. Yeah. And just a long story, it didn't work out, but it was a great opportunity. It was a great experience. And, it just goes to show that when impromptu we can just, at a drop of a hat, go out and represent QUIK-PULL and work really well together.
So for everybody that's watching this, which I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you probably know us and you know NW QUIK-PULL already. Tell us what NW QUIK-PULL is.
NW QUIK-PULL. It's a Northwest QUIK-PULL. It's a tool that's certified as having 10,000 pounds worth of pulling pressure to pull out concrete footings, most any kind of fence post, signpost, smaller trees and shrubs. And it only weighs 50 pounds. So you can carry it back into your backyard without tearing up your gate, tearing up your sprinkler system, your utilities, and that kind of thing. And for those of you that don't realize what 10,000 pounds is, there's other products like a 100 horsepower tractor or a skid steer that just doesn't have that much pulling power. Yeah. Even with their hydraulics and gas and everything else.
I take a couple 12,000 pound pullers with me wherever I go.
Yeah. Just this is a big gun.
But so you don't have to dig down next to it or anything, just pops it right out. But you're at a rental show. What does that have? I mean, what do you rent them? Is that what you do?
Hey, a big shout out to one of our largest tool rental stores, Sunbelt.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody was interested in renting one because you don't have a use to where you want to buy one, go to your local Sunbelt tool rental store. And if they say, we don't carry a NW QUIK-PULL, say, look on your Smart Equip. They'll have it within a couple of days, and you'll be able to use it. So you don't have to purchase one.
So you weren't there to rent them out. You have a network of people that help you rent them. So
it's called Sunbelt.
That's pretty. Sunbelt's awesome.
Hey, the other thing is go to our website. There's quite a few, and the list is growing more and more all the time of our tool rental stores throughout nationwide. Nice.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised how many we've gotten.
How do you find that on the website? What's the website address?
It's nwquickpull.com.
And is it spelled just regular QUICK?
No, we dropped the C.
Dropped the C. So NWQUIK.
That's correct.
PULL.com.
That's correct.
Yeah, we'll try to get those. If somebody listening to us, try to drop that in the comments. so somebody's got a link over to that thing. So yeah, Sunbelt's awesome. I mean, they were at the Fence Show. They support the Fence Show quite a bit as well. So
they do.
Yeah. So get over to Las Vegas if you want to see them in October. They should be there along with you.
Yeah, and then when we're in these shows, the public shows, ARA is specifically designed just for tool rental stores, so it's kind of limited on who goes through there. But there's public shows that we do, like farm and ag shows, where people come through and it's like, I wish I would have had that like last week when I had to fix that fence or I had to replace my mailbox or my flagpole. Or I've got stuff in my yard. I wish I could get rid of a concrete footing, old deck footing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It pulls the concrete out of the ground in just minutes.
Yeah. So tell me a funny story, maybe, if you could think of one on the cuff. If you can't, that's fine. Tell me a funny story that's happened at one of the shows, the expos you went to.
At one of these shows?
Yeah. It doesn't have to be the fence show.
There's always funny stories at the fence show. You know, these guys come through, and you're great about bringing in the entertainers.
Yeah.
Right? And so my wife is blue jeans and flannel shirt kind of girl, but brush popper shirts and, you know, country. Her family comes from a long line of logging stock.
Yeah.
In comes all these girls in Las Vegas, the flamingo girls.
Yeah. Always some flamingo girls around.
I mean, you got to have flamingo girls when you're in Las Vegas, right? Yeah. It's like, honey, if I buy you one of those outfits, do you think maybe can we get that in QUIK-PULL blue?
Yeah, right.
It's like, no. And that's another thing. The wife is the CEO.
Yep.
We're veteran owned and female owned.
Yep.
And so I let her have final say because she's got more common sense. And she says we're not going to get any flamingo outfits.
You let her have the final say because you don't got a choice. She's going to have the final say no matter what anyway.
Kelly says there's not going to be any flamingo. It's just it doesn't run with our image and our branding.
Well, we got you on here because we got a surprise for you. Actually, Kelly is going to be one of the showgirls next year.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Good luck on talking her into that.
So what else is going on over there? Tell me about the ARA show, because I think I quickly went. I saw you at the National Hardware Show. Yep. That was a really cool show. You were in the back where they had all the inventors and all that stuff, and that's kind of a cool area to go to. Tell me about the ARA show. I don't know why I was thinking. I mean, I was amazed at how big it looked when I saw it online, but it was massive, right? It was over at the Las Vegas Convention Center.
The ARA show it's a huge show. It's kind of cool because you get an opportunity you don't always get to.
Yep.
I mean, but you get the opportunity to meet and shake hands with some of the big high up guys in the the industry and in the tool rental industry. So I mean, besides the smaller ones like Park Rose Hardware of Vancouver, Washington, or C&E Rentals out in Portland, Oregon.
Well, you're out of Washington though, right?
I am.
Yeah.
And so with that said, you actually get the opportunity to possibly meet some of these big people like the Home Depot of Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, where else would I get a chance, a small town kid out of Battleground, Washington, get to meet the people of Home Depot?
Yeah.
Tool rentals, right? Yeah. Or Lowe's Tool Rentals.
Were they there?
They were there,
just on a call
and it was a great thing. It was, doing these shows does give a small town kid like me and Kelly great opportunities. But then you get to meet these people from all over. Today I met a tool rental company from Alaska. I think they're from Homer, Alaska. We met distributors from Houma, Louisiana.
Yeah.
I mean, and they invited us down to go down there and do some fishing with them. I said, yeah, vice versa. You get a chance, come on up, Matt. We'd love to see you in the Pacific Northwest, do some salmon fishing.
I think it's cool. I mean, a lot of times people are saying, oh, the shows, people are shying away from shows and stuff. Every once in a while you hear stuff like that. There's, but because of the COVID stuff, people are saying people aren't going to go anywhere back then. But man, I feel like these shows are back in full swing. I mean, people are excited to get back out and start communicating. I think that this year you're going to see a big boost. I was at World of Concrete. Was it last week or the week before?
Last week. It was last week.
Man, I don't know what it felt like. I don't know if there was 50,000 people there, but it sure felt like it. I mean, it was, you were just, shoulder to shoulder at times.
Hey, G&E Great Northern was there. And then also last week, Paragon was there.
Yep.
And they're big partners of ours helping us out. So is I'd like to make a big shout out to Pioneer Tools and Tentwares and PHP Tools. I mean, these are the people that I never would have met without going to the tool shows like that. Now, with that said, I disagree. I think that these tool shows are definitely on their upswing. But because of the coronas and social media developing being what it is, I think that in the future it's going to change. It's actually going to be better.
Yep, I agree.
Because they're just going to make things simpler.
Yeah. I think it felt like it was were confused about what direction shows and actually in-person trade shows were going to go. But I think they've ingrained themselves in back. I mean, I think that they're back to full swing. People are getting more excited and they're going to get bigger and bigger. And people, you can never take that urge to connect, in person. And nothing replaces shaking hands with somebody, even if you've talked to them every day on the phone for the last 2 years. Seeing them in person, it's a chemical connection you get with people when you meet them in person.
It is so true. Just like when you meet some of these influencers, when people meet you, you get people to get starstruck.
Starstruck, yeah. Maybe they come and ask, when they come up and ask me, hey, the toilet's clogged over there. Will you at your office? Will you go take care of that? Yeah. I'll get right on that, sir. I'll get right on that, sir. I apologize, but it is. I mean, you do. I mean, I know I'm all over social media, so every once in a while I get someone saying, hey, I wanted to come. At least say hi and take a picture and stuff with you. And it does feel weird sometimes when people do that, but it's awesome to see people, and people they don't look the same in person. So I think sometimes you wish that they would have like their Facebook picture or something on their badge, because you've looked at that. I know, because I think sometimes people don't look and you're like, you were expecting them to be, or now they've got like facial hair and they didn't before, and you see them walking. You see, like sometimes you'll be like in one of the aisles and you'll see like someone's about 40 feet away and they're walking dead towards you, and you're just like, oh my God, this guy knows me. I should, he's looking,
and he looks familiar. Yep, I know this guy. But
he walks straight up and he's just like a dead run towards you, just like a steady pace, like with his, and then his hand goes out like this, and you're expecting him to say, hey, I'm Rick, or something like that, but instead he already knows you or something, and all of a sudden he realizes that he comes up and says something like, hey, it's really good to meet you. I wanted to meet you. Like, oh, thank God, I don't know who this guy is. Okay, it wasn't just me.
Hey, I've done that to people that I've seen so much of their work on social media that I feel like I know them. I forget that they don't know me.
Yeah.
And so I run right up to them. It's like, oh, hey, yeah. April, how are you? Yeah. April Wilkerson out there at Wilker Dues. Another big fan of hers. I got to meet her one time. And get this. Here's another funny show. I told Kelly, I said, Wilker Dues is going to be here at the Tool and Hardware show. If you get a chance, and Kelly looks at me and says, who's April? And I pull up her social media and she says, okay. Kelly finds her in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Says, my husband's a big fan of yours. And so she says, would you mind doing a little video real quick? She sends me this weird video. I tell you what, it was better than an autograph, getting a little video like that, skit like that from April.
Yeah.
After seeing her for like a year and following all of her helpful tips and tools and whatnot down there in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, I was starstruck. Of course, when she comes to my booth, I forget that she's never met me. She's never seen me, but I run right up to her like I'm thinking I know her, to shake her hand, and she looks and she's got this big scared look like, what? Yeah. No, wait, what's going on? And then last minute hits me, she has no idea who I am.
Yeah, she's over here texting security from her phone.
Yes, I'm sure of it. So
Kelly's like, who is that girl? You're like, I don't know. You mean the one that's texting security right now?
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because, funny story last week during the World of Concrete. I don't know why. It seems like it was a week or two ago, but I was at a steakhouse clear across town, and I get up to go use the restroom, and I'm in the men's restroom, and we have this rule. I mean,
don't look down.
You don't really talk to strangers. We don't talk to each other in the middle. I mean, you're one stall. You don't stand next to each other. You just have this rules, right? There's etiquette that we were taught as kids, right?
And you don't take the short one because you don't know when the little person's going to walk through the door, or somebody brings their son.
So I was standing. I'm in there, and all of a sudden this guy's in there, and he's like looking at me. I'm like, man, this is just not. You just don't do that. You don't try to make eye contact with strangers. We have rules. We have rules, right? And he's like, finally, I go to his sink, and he's like, Are you Brian Fredrickson? I'm like, still at this point, I don't even want to reply because we have rules. We have rules, right?
Wash your hands.
And we're going to go outside.
Or you meet somebody.
Outside. He's like, yeah, so-and-so, my buddy Alex or something. He's sitting across from you in the steakhouse something. He says he knows you. But this is across town. It has nothing to do with World of Concrete. But, I guess he knows you from social media or something like that. And that was like a week or so ago. And then I went up and said hi. So that was kind of cool.
No, and it's always awkward anyway when you meet somebody in the bathroom, because I mean you need to wash your hands.
Yeah.
I mean, so do you shake their hand still?
No, there was no handshaking.
No.
Yeah. In restaurants, I avoid that, man. I mean, and when there's nothing, I guess for me, when you're in the middle of eating or something, and somebody wants to come up, and I think it's courteous, maybe do a knuckle bump or something, but It's because you've already washed your hands, you're prepared, you're eating, and then you got to go shake somebody's hand. Now you got to get up and go use the restroom again and wash your hands again, right?
And
you're
it's not etiquette to stab with the butter knife.
You can't poke people with the butter knife.
When they come at you trying to shake your hand, you can't just like poke it away with the butter knife.
Good, I'm good. Come back later.
Wait till after dessert.
No, but it's always cool to see people. It is. It's always fun. Kelly, though, I think you and Kelly are kind of stars. Everybody
thinks so?
I think so.
I don't think so.
Everybody seems to know who you are. I mean, I had dinner last night with Charlie and his wife, from One Tap, right?
Yes, we love them.
Yeah, so it was. And I mean,
Charlie and Tennille.
Yeah, you're ingrained into the fence industry because I mean, I was just. I think I was texting you like an hour earlier, right? We were talking about going to dinner, and like, oh man, I got some dinner plans at 5 or something, and then 45 minutes later, you sent me a picture of.
When you said that, I'm standing right next to Charlie. I said, "Look, there's Brian."
Oh yeah. Well, luckily I didn't make up some excuse, right? I was like, well, luckily I didn't make up some excuse. Oh man, I'd love to, but I'm. I got to a family emergency or something tonight, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh really? Because. I'm standing.
Oh no! When you said that, Charlie had already told me that you and Yadira were going out to dinner, and so I already had this knowledge, and so that's why I was kind of messing with you. It's like, hey, we ought to do dinner tonight. You and I, let's go do the guy thing.
Oh yeah,
knowing that you're going to go to dinner, I already had plans with Charlie and his wife.
So lesson learned. I learned a long time ago.
Small world.
You don't lie. You don't lie about stuff like that for no reason because they could be like you said. In this case, standing next to the person that's asking you if you can go to dinner.
Literally standing next to him.
So that's funny. So that's why it's a small industry. It is that we're in. So the fact that we could be discussing dinner and I'm have dinner plans with someone else that's actually at your show talking to you, from the fence industry, and you guys aren't even fencers, but you're so tied into the fence industry.
Right. I know.
So,
and the thing is, when you're at a trade show, you got ears.
Yeah. You never know. I mean, I tell people all the time, man, be careful what you're saying in the elevators and.
You don't know who those people are.
No, Stan, especially you get to these trade shows like the South Point where I think on any given night there was 600 rooms in that hotel or something that were from the fence show, right? So that means 600 rooms, maybe 1,200 people that were staying on site, maybe. Right?
There was never a time when I came down from my room to the show and I didn't see at least a dozen people that I knew from inside the show. What's really embarrassing is that I'm used to seeing them inside the show or the hotel, that kind of thing. If you see him at In-N-Out Burger, you have no idea who that guy is. You're standing there in line looking embarrassed thinking, I know that guy. Yeah. I know that. Where do I know that guy?
Like, does he work here? Why do he look so familiar?
Is he friends with Brian?
Should I ask him for a straw? I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is how good a wife I got. Hey, that's Michael Brooks.
Yeah. Yadira does the same thing.
It's like, how does she have that memory? It's like it's somewhere she's got a file folder of all these pictures and names and who they are, what they did, who they're related to, how they're related to other people in business, and I'll get the full scoop because it's like I'll shake that guy's hand. Yeah, how's the wife and kids? How you doing? How you been? That kind of thing. And then they turn around, and walk off with their cheeseburger, and Kelly look at me. You ain't got a clue on who that is, do you? They were like, quick.
And they were, Yadira. Anybody listening? Yadira is my wife. She obviously works here and helps run the fence company. And I go to hire somebody, and I'm one of those people that if you've been fired, let go, or quit, I'll be honest, it's almost like I dump that information later. It's like I don't hold grudges for years, right? So I go to hire somebody back that's worked here before, and she's like, and I'm like, yeah, the system says the person was terminated or let go. And I'm like, I don't even barely remember. I definitely don't remember why, right?
Well, he went to jail.
And she's like, no, here's what happened, She's like, yeah, it was like a Tuesday, and it was a hot day. She's like, yeah, we because we ran out of ice in the ice machine, and then he went out there, and then he took some tools, and he left the tools. You weren't happy because he damaged. I'm like, how do you remember that? I don't even remember the incident, much less who did it.
And she wasn't even there, but she can remember the story.
Yeah. So so she saves me a lot from rehiring people that I would just rehire. Right?
Well, and Kelly has this ongoing saying, what would you do without me? How'd you get along all those years without me? And I just tell her, hey, you know what? I lived caveman style. I kind of did my own thing, run into walls.
All of our shirts had wrinkles and
all of it. I didn't care. Hair was messy.
You know what I mean?
I don't care.
We still change our sheets every 6 months. I mean, come on.
Yes,
You know?
come on. And you know what? I still don't think it's a bad thing to eat ding dongs or zingers for breakfast. I mean, it's a breakfast of champions right there.
Dollar store shampoo.
Yes. Why do we have to buy the expensive stuff?
I don't know.
Hey, you know, once you're married, you're getting the $50 shampoo,
and
then you feel guilty washing your hair because you're thinking to yourself, "My wife paid $50 for this. I should have just got the dollar." I've even asked her dollar stuff. She's like, "Nope. I know you like that other stuff." It's like, yeah, but I feel guilty using it.
so we survived somehow, but it was a rougher life. There's no doubt.
And you know, at the time, it didn't seem rough. It didn't seem rough at all.
No.
But now I'm looking back on it like, could I go back to living like that?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
when she's gone for a week or so, if she has to go down to visit her family in Mexico, it's like I'm literally down to like the last pair of socks and things. And I'm thinking, man, I just don't remember this being a problem in the last 7 years, but I just keep using them. And I'm like, man, I'm going to have to do a load of laundry. I don't, of course. I tell myself this, but then I go to the store and stop by and get a pack of socks or something.
Hey, Kelly will go down to visit her. We'll go down to visit her son and grandkids. And then I'll call her, honey, where'd you put the ketchup? Did you know we're out of mustard? No, there's not. You look in the pantry. Where I looked in the pantry everywhere. Look behind the pickles. Oh, there is mustard there. Thank you, honey. Yeah. And another thing, you see my favorite shirt?
Yeah. So what's she doing right now besides enjoying some peace while you're gone?
She's enjoying the dog.
The
dog.
So you're going back. Are you? Well, I saw you had Oregon plates or something on your. Is that a rental car?
No, it's my
Washington. I had Washington plates when I saw it. Yeah. So you're gonna drive back?
Yeah. From here, I'm gonna take 15 down to start out in Ontario, California. Take the 15 and work my way down to San Diego.
Uh-huh.
I want to go see the Master Halco at El Cajon. I've never seen that.
Nice.
I also want to see the one in Highlands. Unfortunately, we just had those fires, so I don't know how this is all going to work out. I'm kind of, you know, on edge here. You know, what should I say and not say? But because I know these people, it's been a very, very hard time for them.
Yeah.
The people of LA. But then also I want to stop and see some Sunbelts and meet some new tool rental people. Working my way up I-5 all the way back up to the Oregon border.
When do you think you'll be back in Washington?
I hope I'll be there Friday night. But if I don't, then there's always a plan B. And the reason being is that the following week, Kelly's going to be back down here at Ridgecrest out in the Mojave Desert.
For family?
Yeah, she's coming down to see her grandkids and see her son. He's a career, we're so proud of him. He's career Navy. He's a CB, combat engineer for the U.S. Navy. He's got a few more years till he gets his 20-year pension. He recently just got promoted to E7. We're hoping he can make E8 before because I mean that makes a difference in your pension, right? That's a whole bunch.
Yeah, they'll reach out to him, ask him if I can borrow some money. What do you mean?
I don't know.
He's going to be banking soon.
I'm just saying.
See if he wants to invest in a fence company. Reach out to this guy. We're all looking for money.
Well, you know, he told me he likes the heavy equipment. He likes playing with the big trucks and that kind of thing. And I said, get your CDL and as much education as you can at the cost of the government right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Take full advantage of it.
Take full advantage of it. Then you get the GI Bill and you'll even have more credits towards you'll have more opportunity to go get more education if you want.
But you weren't always an inventor of cool tools. What were you doing?
Oh, we're gonna go there.
Yeah.
No, what happened was I got hurt in the Persian Gulf. I was working as a commercial mariner. In other words, I was on container ships. And I did have experience on several other ships, but most of it was container ships or LMSRs. And as a result of that, I ended up getting a knee and a shoulder replacement, not to put all my laundry out there, but I had to find another line of work because I couldn't climb around in bilges and on top of masts and up and down containers anymore. And I felt really dumb. I mean, and I wasn't that old. I mean, I wasn't time for retirement.
Yeah.
And I remember after getting my shoulder, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm on, drugged up. Kelly's driving me home from the hospital. And I said, what are we going to do? We got to figure out something else because we're too young to retire. Why would we want to?
Yeah.
And we just didn't have enough in means to retire. And she just looked at me and said, we've been playing with this QUIK-PULL thing as a hobby. We need to make it a business. I said, a business.
That was Kelly?
That Kelly said that. And I'm like, I made that as a favor for a friend. And he said, now you need to put it on YouTube and start selling them. And I'm thinking, how? I mean, what? I really didn't understand how that worked. I don't know anything about the tool industry.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the fence industry. I don't know anything about it. And so everything we learned, we had to learn it the hard way.
Yeah.
We're still learning the hard way. You know, if it wasn't for people like you and the people we meet at the trade shows and network with, we wouldn't have accomplished anything. And then I heard that, you know, after that whole Shark Tank experience, I heard one of the sharks say that 80% of all the people that even get a deal still end up failing. And that was just heartbreaking to me. But it was also made me feel like, you know what? We just completed 4 years of doing this full time as a living, and we're still in business.
Yeah.
We're definitely by no means, don't get me wrong, we're not ready to retire.
Yep.
We're still in debt. We still have a small business administration loan. We've still got a mortgage. We've still got bills. But we're still alive.
Yeah.
We're still up and running. We're both healthy now, right? And so we count our blessings every single day, and we're happy to do what we're doing. We really enjoy doing what we're doing.
Well, you do it well. I mean, you see it, you can see it too. You can see that you guys have fun.
Can you?
Yeah, you can see that you guys have fun when you go to. I mean, whenever I see you, I mean, and in all fairness, though, we talk even outside of all this. Obviously, we have long conversations on the phone and stuff. And
sure.
You've always been supportive of everything that we've got going on, not just the businesses, but personally as a friend. So, you know, our relationship's a big deal.
That's all been my pleasure.
Since the beginning of when we first connected. I think we've been friends almost since day one.
Hey, Kelly, come to me one day, and it was at a trade show, another trade show. And she says, hey, they're starting up this thing called the Fence Workers Association. I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, Brian's starting it. I said, we're done. What are we going to do? Yeah. And I was your first. I remember you telling me, because I come up to you immediately after she told me this. I said, can we get a booth in that? She said, right now.
Yeah.
Right now. I said, well, where do we sign this? Well, we haven't come up.
I don't know. I don't know how.
We have no way of taking money. We don't know where it's going to be. We don't have any idea what the layout's going to be. We don't have all the logistics.
Yeah.
Well, here's my credit card. When you come up with these logistics, let us know. And I was the first vendor of the Fence Workers Association. I want to put that. I mean, I tried to
put that on my website. We talked a long time, even before, like when I was just thinking of figuring out how to, because like you, and I think that's why you connect to the fence industry too. You talk about doing it the hard way and the struggle and trying to figure it out. That is the fence industry in a nutshell. I mean, fencers, we don't always, there isn't really a training really for it that much.
So you figure it out.
Yeah.
Or you don't do it.
Yeah. You live and learn, and and I think as it's growing, there's a lot more consultants, a lot more advice and stuff you can get now. But the fence industry is a lot of just lessons learned, and
people share their education. Yeah. One of the funny stories that you was asking about is that after we got this up and running, we got it developed. We know what we're doing now, and we're reaching out to different people. Kelly found this influencer called Mr. Fence Tools, and he says, I'm coming out with my own fence puller, my fence post puller, right? Kelly found the gumption to call him up directly, found him online or LinkedIn or on his website. And Sean King answered the phone, and Kelly said, hey, forget that fence post puller you got. Yeah. We have a better one, and we would like you to represent it. And, the first year that we were in business, that was the first year. I mean, Kelly jumped out there, had the gall to ask him and say that to a big influencer like Sean King. Yeah. Sean King, while they're on the phone, goes and looks at our website, looks at our YouTube channel, and it wasn't very good back then, but it showed what we were doing. This is done. He sold like a high percentage. Yeah. I mean, it was like a third or a half of all the inventory we sold that year.
Well, that's interesting. So he helped get you off the ground that first year.
And I'm still feel like I'm in debt to Mr. Fence. Wow. I mean, we had the same, logo and colors and that kind of thing. And so we kind of
right into the tool line.
meshed right there together. And then it was like anything and everywhere he went, we went with him, and we were just proud to do it. And I feel like it's still the same way. I mean, that relationship's still there. If he called me tomorrow and said, I got a school in Pennsylvania or Florida or California, I'd jump in there and do it for him. I'd run down there and help him out, do whatever I could to help him out. Yeah,
Sean's a good guy. I mean, it's kind of similar story because except when I first started FWA, we reached out, we talked, and right when I called, he answered, and we had some long conversations, and we bonded over. We have similar stories with some of the family history and stuff like that, and we became friends. And now, I can call the guy no matter what and have a long conversation and spitball stuff, and we kind of bounce stuff off each other, and it's just it's a solid, genuine relationship, which is nice.
Speaking of friends and all this, I don't want this to end without hearing some stories about Susan K. Worley. You know, when I first met her, she was working with SAS selling gate parts, and then all of a sudden she's all on board. I mean, she literally took a leap of faith with the Fence Workers Association, left this big company with a secure job, with health benefits, with all the perks of working for a big corporation, and said, you know what, I want to do FWA.
She's got a passion for it. You know,
she's got the personality. I mean, she's like a Muppet.
Yeah, and SAS is one of my favorite. Yeah, she's awesome. She's one of my SAS is one of my favorite companies. I mean, we have a long history going back, not just through FWA and stuff, but purchasing equipment. And Ron Hines.
Love Ron Hines.
Yes, Ron Hines was my sales rep. Basically, he was a branch manager, I think, for Control Products at the time. That's how we knew each other. Then he went to SAS, and then I, of course, I'd follow Ron anywhere. And he went over there, and then the support of SAS was a huge. It was a huge deal for FWA, the fence show, and everything. And they just kind of got behind what we were doing, and some of it's that kind of support from you and SES and people like that, it would give us the confidence that we need.
Yeah, but Ron's got that personality. I remember the night that we went out, the first night we went out to dinner, Kelly, Ron, and I.
Yep.
And we were telling, so he could hear about us and do what he could to support us. And we're telling him about how we're in like 6 completely different industries: the fence industry, the tool rental industry, the sign industry, big sign out, fast signs, benevolent, and also traffic safety supply.
Yep.
I mean, we're in the sign industry too, right? And the landscaping industry, right? I mean, we're in multiple industries, and it's tough because we can only spread ourselves so thin. And Ron just looks at me and says, "Dude, you're making it easy on me.
Yeah.
You're making it too easy on me." I mean, I thought that all you did was pull out a fence post. When you told me you pulled out the concrete footing with it, I could think of a million uses for it. Then you tell me signs and landscaping, and it just goes on and on and on. It's like,
I think I remember telling Ron, I said, "Let me introduce you to Rowdy and Cal." I mean, the whole thing back then. I'm like, I got to get you guys together because I knew you guys would be a great fit on.
Well, it was just inspirational, and the guy needs validation like that. When he's starting up something new like the FWA, he needs the validation. And he also needs honest friends to say, "Hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait, back up.
Dude, man.
There's got to be a better way of doing this, right?"
You've been harsh to me sometimes. But you know
what?
You can because we're close.
But the other thing is that you need the validation. Like, dude, I never would have thought of that. That's a great idea. Let's do that. Let's get on the board. It's surf now.
I remember sometimes you're harsh on me. I walk away going, "Man." And then an hour later, "Rowdy, what's up?" Yeah, that's funny. But Susan's been a rock. I met her obviously through SAS. Ron, I think Ron made the introduction, or it feels like we've known each other our whole lives. We're like a family.
Some people are like that,
and it's like where you can't even pinpoint the exact moment you met. I think it was at a Fence Tech or something when we met. It might have been Oklahoma or something like that. And
I think it was here in Vegas. I think that one time during the Coronas or right after the Coronas, there was a Fence Tech here in Las Vegas.
No, it must have been Oklahoma, or maybe it was.
Was it?
Or what was the one in Louisiana? I think maybe one of those.
I don't know. It's next month though. It's coming up fast in Salt Lake.
Yep.
We're looking forward to seeing James Shannon and Master Halco out there in Salt Lake. I called the guy, bugged him. He goes, "Sorry, Randy, I don't call you back, but and I see you've left me 3 messages, and dude, I still love you, and I'm looking forward to seeing. They got a new facility out there, and that is going to be incredible to see because you understand that when you walk in a Master Halco, every one of them looks different. Every one of them's got character. Every one of them looks like however the branch manager set it up, right? And the one out there in Salt Lake looked like an office building. I was like, "Where do you store your supplies?" They took an office where it would be normal reception area, and they put fencing material in there so people would have supplies to look at. You're right. I mean, there's a mini showroom, and I talked to the other day. He says, "I got a big showroom now, Rowdy, and I know exactly where we're going to put the QUIK-PULL, and we're going to put a TV up there, and I got other people coming in right there next to you and behind you, and this is going to be a great thing, dude."
That's funny.
And then I've got a plan on where we're going to put the QUIK-PULL and put you guys there in the Fence Tech and work with you and that kind of thing. Big shout out.
Are they going to put your QUIK-PULL in their booth?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma's going to be there. The Oklahoma branch is coming in to help out.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, they had a pretty good presence at our show last year. But I know you saw the big truck out front, and they really
was funny.
They really kind of stepped up at that last show, so we appreciate that. That was kind of cool.
For those of you that are watching that have never been to the South Point or to Las Vegas, for that matter, I mean these hotels are made to cater to people, the mom and pop kettle from wherever, whenever, and so they got these little parking spots for all your cars, and it's made for you to help make sure the little kids and the handicap can get in and out, old people, that kind of thing. I'm getting old too, right, Vest? Well, Master Huckle pulls in this truck and just parks it wherever they feel like they want it. Security and the police go, hey, you can't park there.
Yeah, well, we had a prearranged, but because I mean, part of our contract, we get a prearranged, and that spot I wanted because I thought it'd be really cool to. I mean, come on. I mean, I don't think the fence industry is sometimes treated with the respect we should have. To be honest, I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and you go places sometimes they look at us handyman and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, man, we're gonna do something. We're gonna brag about our show. It's a big deal. It's a lot of work for thousands of fencers to get on airplanes and go somewhere. Let's make them feel special.
Exactly, right? They should feel special.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not easy work sometimes.
Yeah,
depending on what kind of soil you got going on and what's the weather like. Yeah. I mean, these guys work in the snow, or else they can't pay their bills.
Yep,
they work in the rain.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, terrible high winds. I mean, they're rebuilding LA, and let's not forget about the people of the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, it's a tough business.
I mean, they're still
and I think that's why we fight so hard to not outgrow kind of where we're at, is because I want them to be able to come and I mean, they shouldn't have to spend $30 a drink, $6 beer, or I mean, that's a big deal. That is a huge deal in a $75 room, and I mean, you shouldn't have to be a multi-million-dollar company to stay at the host property. For the hotel. And so, I mean, it's just, that is how you build a show, I think, around trying to include everybody and get them there.
I have said all along from the word go with the Fence Workers Association, and I'll say it again, especially this would be a great place to say it, is that, people forget that these attendees and these vendors have to have a reason to be there.
Yeah.
If you're not going to give some of it back to and it could be something as simple as having the coffee stands in the morning, or having a bite to eat after, snacks sent throughout, so they have a place to commingle and associate with each other, right?
Yep.
I mean, the whole point is to connect people with resources, whether it's vendors with fence companies, or get fence companies the newest and latest and greatest. I mean, look at vinyl fence, how far that's come in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's in the lifetime warranty on some of that stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, if we have an industry where we just, every small guy out there, we start calling them trunk slammers and one truck chucks, and we start literally building an industry around of not encouraging those guys to become. I mean, I hear stories all the time like, what, we're supposed to sell to those guys, or we're supposed to do that to these guys. That guy only does it on the weekend. Well, first, I always say that, you hear me say this a million times. If you're crazy enough to go dig holes and build fence like the rest of us in extreme weather, then we don't want to let you go. Let's take that guy that builds fence on the weekend and turn him into a full-time guy. And the only way that can be done is by giving him the resources and giving him access to the materials and setting him up accounts at the suppliers. And we don't shun those guys. We don't say, oh, we're happy with chasing the same 500 fence companies. We should be out there finding the ones, that are struggling and somehow figure out how to get them to a trade show or get them to engage in our industry. And that, the guy that, and maybe it's a bigger deal. I think it's a bigger deal for those guys to shut their company down for a week, because that company might just be them, their brother, right, and their uncle.
It's not easy being a small business anyway in this world. And that was one of the things about the whole fence industry. You make it whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
You can be as big as you want to be, or as small, because some people, I like to keep my life simple.
Yeah.
So I don't want a lot of employees. I like the idea of subcontracted out some of this work. But the truth of the matter is that, you lose out on some of the benefits. I mean, we're back to the Susan K. Worley. She lost out on some of the benefits and the perks of working for the big corporations. But you guys came in and it just shocked me that you got health insurance for the small, and anybody can get it.
Yep.
Anybody.
You don't even have to be, what? And as much as we really would love to be a member of FWA, and it is a resource that was created, with the FWA members on, I would never want somebody not to get it because they, for some reason, didn't want to be a member of FWA. If somebody could get health insurance, if we could get one woman a breast exam or a prostate exam or something for a guy or anything like that, and prevent them finding out they have cancer at stage 4 because they went and got an exam, and we were able to provide a service that gave them a policy for $50 a month or whatever it is that allowed that preventative.
What about the family? What about the family
too? Yeah, I mean,
I mean, now all of a sudden you've got this corporate benefit, this big corporate benefit that you can offer to these small businesses and their families.
I'm glad you brought it up because, you know, one of the struggles we had as fence companies, as small ones, or even small businesses as a whole, is we're competing against larger companies. And I don't know if it's ever happened to you in the past. You had an employee that came in and said
they outgrew us, and when they left us for a bigger company that had to have that offered them more money, not only more money, but more benefits, more retirement.
Sometimes less money. Sometimes they'll go work for less money because they can't work here anymore because they couldn't get health care, or we couldn't offer them that. So it's not necessarily always even just more money. It's just they needed that health care because now they have a child on the way, and their wife is saying, you can't go build fence no more. And now they're driving a forklift in a warehouse, and they're not happy, and they're perfectly good fence builders, and we've lost them. So I wanted to be able to sit myself. Everything I built was for me as well. I wanted to be able to sit across from somebody and say, I can offer you this.
Right.
And maybe get that employee to come aboard that wouldn't have been able to come aboard because one of the larger companies can offer, even a larger fence company, maybe it's, you know, something like that, they can offer that healthcare. So it gave us something to start with anyways, and maybe kind of retain.
Now, I've heard through the grapevine that you're working on trying to get some of these, some sort of retirement program up and running.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It's tough. I mean, it took me a year and a half probably on the healthcare stuff.
Ain't it just as simple going down and getting a paying bank and handing it out to everybody that's a new member and say, look, here's your retirement.
Yeah.
Every week you put a couple dollars in this, and at the end of 20 years, you'll have that thing will be full.
Yeah. Interim, you can just send it all to Rowdy and Kelly, and they'll.
No.
Don't send it to me.
I'm just saying, tell us a little bit about that. What all does it take?
What
are the logistics of this?
I think sometimes,
what is it going to look like
sometimes you just, and people love to pick apart stuff because it's like, maybe it's not exactly what you wanted, right?
Is anything perfect?
Yeah, no, it's tough. So even like with the healthcare and stuff, this covers this, it doesn't cover that. But with the investment stuff, there's even more laws and regulations. There's even more stuff. And it gets harder because we're, when I sit down, even with the healthcare, just like we're doing now with the investment stuff and the retirement stuff, I get as soon as I start researching this or start even mentioning it, I get flooded with people, even from our, that service our industry and the larger companies saying, hey, I can set you up. And I have to weed through meeting after meeting after meeting with these companies that want to represent us and set up the 401ks and the investment accounts and all this IRA, whatever they're going to be working on. But I tell them, I have to sit through the spiel and I tell them, look, I get it. But you have to have at least 10 employees or 5 employees. I go, look, I'm not going to introduce this to the fence industry unless I have somebody with 1 employee that's still going to be able to set this thing up. Or maybe it's just an owner operator that's doing this, because that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to fill that gap. Anybody that's got 10 employees can already call their payroll service or call their CPA, call whatever, and get this stuff set up. So I'm not looking to introduce another one of those. That's been the battle, is how are we going to find something that fits everybody and then not just a small percentage of the fence industry?
Keep it up, man, because we appreciate you out there as members of the FWA.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
I mean, this is huge. I mean, when you told me I heard you got health insurance, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Because that's a game changer for a lot of these guys. And, the other thing is that I was wanting to, I know I called you about 6 months ago.
Uh-huh.
Well, saying we need to get some advertisement out there to the Latino community. Because, get this. Now, a big shout out. I was born and raised in the Treasure Valley of Southern Idaho.
Yep.
And this only got 3 radio stations. One entity owns like all 3 of them, or 2 out of 3 of them. Anyway, the point being is that I advertised my house. I needed some help. I needed to rent it and that kind of thing. I advertised it, and literally within minutes after they announced it, my phone rang off the hook.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point being, it was because it was like one of those very few resources.
Yeah.
That just underutilized, and it's like we need to communicate to these people that don't necessarily speak English, and it isn't just the Latino. I mean, I know I'm going to get a little bit of hate speech, and they're going to say, "Well, that guy's just going off the deep end now." No. I mean, we do have a big community here in America that is Polish, the Russian speaking, and Asian speaking. There's a multitude of Asian languages and that kind of thing. But who's going to reach out to these people and mount to them and say, look, the guy with the food truck or the I don't know. There's a list of businesses, small businesses. There's a huge huge number of small businesses that need to be reached out to and say, hey, you're welcome to come.
Why does he got to have a food truck? Why can't he have a limo service or something?
A limo service, anything.
Yeah.
You know, we want to reach out to you guys, and just because you don't build fence, we want you to come out and join us.
Yeah,
and see what this is about.
Yeah, and we're working. One of the things which is not quite out there is, you know, on the Fence University stuff. Besides the classes we do for automated,
you do classes,
and you saw the classroom in there.
Did anybody learn anything?
Yeah, I don't know. They get it. We give them a certificate and everything. What do you mean? Right?
I've got kids sitting in the back row.
No, when you leave there, like one of the quick start automatic gate operator classes, and we do some private education and stuff as well. So if somebody has a team they want to come in just for a couple of days at a certain date, they can do. But besides all that, we actually are we've been communicating with some of the, and we're gonna try it on the state level here, and kind of branch it out with the unemployment office and then the state prisons. One of them, maybe we can get a training facility set up inside the prison to where we can certify people on how to build fence. So when they leave the prison system, they've got a certification. They go out looking for jobs. Plus we can bring people into our industry. And unemployment office are just sitting down there trying to look for work and stuff. We're going to set up some training classes with them, like a 3-week course where they leave here with some tools.
That's what I love about you. You know, we both came from disadvantaged homes. We weren't raised with any type of privilege. You and I have both, we've talked about this in the past, how we've had to work really hard for everything we have in life, and we've lost it over stupid stuff. And then we come back for more because we don't know any better. We don't know guys like you and I don't know any better. And the thing is, it's so easy for us to reach out to those people that didn't quite have those or made mistakes in life. Yep. Help each other get back up and running again.
Well, man, I've said it before, man, if you're not sitting there with your head between your hands, wondering what you're going to do next, you're not even in the game yet.
You're not even in the game.
You're not even in the game. No, we're glad for punishment. And you're right. Like when I came to Las Vegas, I was sleeping in a Toyota truck in the Circus parking lot, in the where the motorhomes park. I think that's gone now. They turned it into a festival ground. And I remember going in there late at night, and I was afraid to go park somewhere else. And I'm 6 foot something tall. We're tall guys in general, right? So in a little Toyota truck, I'd have to roll one window down and stick my legs out, or try to curled up unless I wanted to curl up in a ball, right? And I would go in there late at night, and when you go to where they park motorhomes, there's always typically a spot next to it for the vehicle you were towing or something.
Yes.
So you park your motorhome in that, but not everybody has a vehicle they tow. So I'd go in there late at night at like 1, 2 in the morning, and I go through there through the lanes in the driveway, turn my car off, and I just kind of coast into one of the spots. And then in the morning time, I'd hear people rustling around. I just get up. And how I used to get my beer or my drinks, I'd go stand like, when you're out there gambling, you could get free booze and stuff, right?
Oh, no way.
But I couldn't afford to gamble. I mean, I was sleeping in my truck. I was showering at the truck stop at Cheyenne like 15 for $5. That's where I was getting my showers. And I would get a drink. But the only way I'd be able to get a drink was I'd have to go and somebody would set a drink down next to the machine or something, like a bottle or whatever it was.
Oh, you did not.
I wouldn't drink it. So listen, I'd grab it and I'd pick it up and I'd go stand next to where the people would go, where the waitresses or cocktail waitresses were, and I'd be right close to them. And then when they turned around, it'd act like they bumped me and I'd drop my drink. And then she'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." She'd get me another one while she was out there.
You're hustling the drink.
Yeah, I would eat. I was like 21 at this point. I would eat at the buffets at the. Well, luckily, I think the statute of limitations is up on this stuff, so I'm good. But I would eat.
This is like that serious.
Yeah, I would eat at the buffet, where that World Buffet at Rio. They were cheap.
Was it good?
Oh man, it was the best buffet in the world back then. It was like $3.99 breakfast, $5.99 lunch. So I'd go in and I would grab a plate and I'd go up to where they were cooking. They always had like an area where they would be cooking food, right, where you have to wait for it. And I would just sit there and eat what I had on my plate, and while I was waiting for the steak to be well done or whatever that wasn't. And I'd go in the exit and then I'd put the food down and leave. That's where I would eat. That's how I lived when I came to Las Vegas. So what you were saying, how we didn't grow up with with all the perks, and we wanted to start a business. We had to go hang flyers on doors. We had to make phone calls. I guess it kind of toughened you up. We didn't have money to go spend on advertising, and that seemed insane, right?
I mean, yes. And I've had a couple of different small businesses that just went to the wayside, and it's and when you're starting over like that, I mean, there was at one point in time when I first went to sea, I had a home.
Yeah.
I didn't want to lose it, but I couldn't afford it anymore. I was switching careers.
Yeah.
And so I made the decision, I'm going to rent out my home and go couch surfing with a friend.
Yep.
And the thing is, in a career like that, I'm gone 200 days a year around the world on container ships or LMSR ships. And so with that said, I'm only home 4 months a year.
Yeah.
And in those 4 months, I might spend 1 or 2 of those months down in San Diego or Seattle getting educated, updating my license, that type of thing. So realistically, why was I paying a mortgage?
Yeah.
So, and I really did. I love my home. I really didn't want to. And so when I made this transition from going to sea to getting married and starting the QUIK-PULL, I mean, there was a lot going on at that moment in my life, right? And Kelly's like, because Kelly's not by nature the most domestic person either.
But you didn't want to sleep in your truck with you and
shower at
the park with the homeless people either, right?
we made a conscious decision. We're going to get domesticated. We're going to settle down.
Get a dog.
We're going to get a dog.
Start using the restrooms indoors. The normal stuff, right?
Normal stuff, right?
It is Washington though, so I don't know if that's.
And so we made a conscious decision to quit being mariners and start the QUIK-PULL. And then the next moment was kind of quiet. I'm kind of waiting on you to tell me what do you do to be domesticated? And Kelly says, I was kind of hoping you knew because I really don't know what that is. I mean, we get a dog. We get a dog.
Well, you got to start watching like Gilmore Girls and like the.
I don't know.
You got to start watching some of those hospital sitcoms or something.
And then
Dr. Gray, I don't know, what is that, Grey's Anatomy or something? Whatever you do when you get domesticated.
I don't know. And then Kelly's got this son, and you've got 2 beautiful grandkids. And it's like when I'm down there with them, it's not even that far from here. It's out in the Mojave Desert. And it's like those kids, I get down on the floor and get to playing with them. It's like, look, rule number 1, if you get hurt, it's your problem.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea. I never had the luxury of raising children or having grandkids. So this is the closest thing I get to having grandkids. And it's like, no. I understand. If you were playing piggyback and you fall off, it's not my fault. Yeah. You should have held on. You know what I mean? It's
we had no idea. We had 2.
And when little girls start crying, what do? You got little girls. When they start crying, I just stand there like, whoa.
We grew up with 2 types of treatments before we went to the doctor, and it was 2 things. It was either roll around.
Rub some dirt on it,
walk it off, or roll around a little bit. You'll be okay, right?
Yeah,
that was pretty much
the medical.
That was it. I mean, if those 2 things didn't fix it, we would talk about maybe throwing some peroxide or something on it, make it fill up. I mean, Neosporin or peroxide, right? But I mean, that was like phase 3. But at no point was going to the doctors anywhere on the scale, was it?
No. What was funny was that. However you scraped up your knee, you wrecked your bicycle, you wrecked your skateboard. That didn't hurt nearly as bad as the peroxide.
Remember that peroxide?
The peroxide.
We all had it.
Or that rubbing alcohol. That was enough to keep your mom from. Don't tell mom she'll put rubbing alcohol on
stuff would start bubbling and oh my god! Remember that? I don't know. Do they even still use peroxide?
I don't know.
I don't even.
I found out the other day it doesn't even work. Is what they said. Facebook said it doesn't work.
I think they just repackaged it as nail polish remover or something.
Well, they said it removes blood out of your clothes.
Is that what they said?
I'm thinking, I don't know.
So does a pair of scissors,
so cut it out.
But you're up in, I love Washington. You're up in Washington.
We are in the foothills of Mount St. Helens in a little town that Kelly grew up in. And she even said that in high school, she stood on the roof of her house and watched the Mount St. Helens blow.
Yeah, I was down there during that. I was in Portland side, but you're up. Yeah, so I was same town you guys are in. We had a house there once. Loved it. That whole area is just, that's awesome.
We love it. We wouldn't want to live anywhere else in the world. Yeah. And we travel all over North America with the QUIK-PULL, but it's always good to be home.
Do you go across the border into Oregon because they don't have any sales tax to get your food and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
No, you just pay the sales tax to Washington?
Yes. And the thing is, it's just more people created more traffic, and so they've only got 2 bridges.
Yep.
Only 2.
Yeah.
It's 2. Only 2.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a part of me says they should build like 4 bridges.
Yep.
But then on the other hand, I really don't want to pay for it as a taxpayer.
Yeah.
So you get conflicting. How about we just stay on this side of the river? This side of the Columbia River, but we live in what I call the most beautiful place in the world. And it's just like little secrets. Don't tell nobody out there on the internet.
You know, so I didn't say it because that place will get flooded with everybody. You just that whole place.
It already is.
They'll be like,
it already is.
They'll be opening up like 30 fence companies there. If you guys knew how beautiful
it already does,
you'd have like 30 more fence companies in the next 6 months.
Well, the thing is, I go one direction for an hour and I hit the Pacific Ocean. I go the other direction, I hit the Columbia River Gorge.
So we gave you some hints, everybody. Drop in the comments where you think we're talking about.
I said it earlier.
Did you?
I did say it earlier.
Okay, well, he might have said it earlier, but you know what? Without going back, try to drop it. I don't think
north.
I don't think people will.
We got Mount St. Helens and Mount Adams.
Yeah. Columbia. We got Columbia River. He's talking about 2 bridges.
And then we go south over the Columbia River, and we end up in
there's no
the
bridges.
Willamette River, the Willamette Valley.
Yeah, Willamette River, like that goes through Portland area, but this is more on the Columbia River side.
And I don't care what you heard on the news. It's a great place to be. It's a great place to have kids. It's a great place to have your business.
Oh, were you on the news again? Is that what's
no?
Going on? Is that what it is?
I want to go for Bigfoot. I wish everything was as easy because I mean, how many people come back? Yeah, I was successful. I found Bigfoot. No, nobody ever comes back saying they're successful. And it's like baseball players have to hit the baseball at least 3 times out of 10. So if you can't find Bigfoot 3 times out of 10 times of looking for him, I'm thinking you're not that good at your job.
Some tells me there's a Bigfoot costume inside, big old costume inside your house somewhere, and you've been wandering around with the photos.
Hey, every year I'm out there backpacking or fishing, thinking, I wonder if he's watching me. If he's do you think he ever looks for me the way I look for him?
They both he's had rowdy sightings. He goes back and talks to the family, and he tries to tell them how he saw you, and they don't believe him.
No, really, the QUIK-PULL guy. The QUIK-PULL guy,
they don't believe
he was
him.
out in the boat fishing. I seen him. Look, here's a picture. His wife's looking at him. That's kind of blurry. I don't know.
You haven't seen the real Rowdy.
No, that's I don't know. I'm gonna have to call BS on that one because you know what? No.
Hey, Rowdy.
Little kids are looking at you. No, that's not him.
Thanks for coming in, man. This has been fun.
It has so been my pleasure. When you said that we were going to do this, like, oh yeah, I'll always make time for you, man. Always make time for you.
Awesome. And if you get over to Las Vegas fence, like everywhere else, not just at some of these rental companies stuff, you can come look at one of these QUIK-PULLs at Las Vegas fence. When you came in, obviously it's on display right in the middle of our showroom. But you did bring another one before we go. You brought another one today, so we're going to be swapping the one in our display. What's the difference?
You had the last generation.
Okay.
So the new one's got a more indestructible handle. We're always trying to make the handle more and more destructible. You know, out of all 4 years of selling QUIK-PULLs, we've only had 4 handles bend or break on us that we know of. So if you're out there and you have a QUIK-PULL and you've had problems with it, you got questions, please call us. We answer our phones, or we'll get back to you as fast as possible. We're a small business just like you.
How can you reach out to you?
Look for us at nwquickpull.com.
Okay.
Or you can call me at 360-907-3123. That's our phone number. And so with that said, we've only had 4 handles that went bad on us. And every time it gives us a little bit better education. And just for your story, even though it's out of warranty, we're still doing what we can to help you out.
Yep.
You know, people have called me and said the chain broke. Well, we upgraded our chain. So that when the new one has the upgraded chain, has the upgraded, and then it's also got, people were saying, hey, the cradle kept falling out and we were losing it off the back of our pickup truck. Well, so we secured it and still managed to figure out how to keep it swiveling. Yep. So, I mean, there's quite a few upgrades on the one that I brought you as opposed to the last one.
All right, great. Thanks for coming in again. I know you got to hit the road. You got like a week's worth of traveling to get home. So,
I'm gonna be in California for the next week.
Yeah, so if you want to meet up with him and you're down there in Southern California or going up through California, reach out, see if he can stop by and visit you.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks again.
Thank you.